Going on, everyone? It's your boy Ben and JV from JBM Sports Media coming at you guys with our NBA trade deadline, I guess predictions in a way, but we have 6 NBA players right here that we guarantee are going to get traded. It's going to be very interesting to see how many of these guys do get dealt even before the deadline. Technically, it is on February 5th, but we could see some of these guys go way before. JV, before we get it started, I know we picked some players that obviously have been in trade rumors the last few weeks, but even leading up to February 5th, and, you know, the 3 players that we did end up choosing. So we're going basically 1 for 1, 1 for 1, 1 for 1 all the way through. Real quick, though, I'll just say this. For your Knicks more so, are you going to see anybody maybe join the Knicks or maybe getting shipped off in your mind? Real quick before we get it started.
I truly don't think it's going to be big superstars like the Cat Town, the Karl Anthony Towns and the big names, So I just don't see how they have the draft capital to make some of these trades work for a guy like Giannis. I just don't see it happening. I think it would have to be a lot more, a player for player type deal. And I don't think teams are more into that. They'd rather maybe get 1 or 2 players plus the draft capital. And the Knicks don't have that. So they're going to have to trade maybe some low level pieces. We were talking about that before, like Gershon Yabusele. He could potentially get traded. Just to dump them and make some space on the roster, but I don't see the Knicks making any substantial moves this deadline. Unfortunately, I see maybe more in the offseason. They'll make some tougher decisions, but right now, no, I don't think teams are really interested in what we have. I think they're just more draft capital, focused, and the Knicks don't have that.
Yeah, and I guess real quick before we get into it, when it comes to my Bucks, especially after the Giannis calf strain this past week, I do believe they're most likely going to stand pat. I mean, they have the rights to their first-round pick at the moment. So I don't feel like they're going to embrace wasting one of those future first-round picks. One of the only ones that they have are 2031 or 2030, I believe, first-round pick to get some guy that, most likely Giannis won't even be back to like March at best. I do think this probably confirms with the injury that he's not going to get traded this trade deadline. That'll probably be a summer type of move. At the current moment, I just do not see it happening at the trade deadline whatsoever. So that's just the state of the Bucks. I think we're going to stand pat, basically tank all the way through, try to get a good pick. But regardless, let's get into 6 NBA players we do believe will be dealt by the deadline. Starting off with first one that I had to bring to the table, and that is Andrew Wiggins. I think Andrew Wiggins is a very intriguing piece. First and foremost, I think versatility is a big factor for teams like the Lakers. We've seen him in rumors with the Warriors, reuniting with the Jonathan Kuminga trade, going back. The Lakers have always been in trade rumors for Wiggins ever since he went to the Miami Heat. So I do believe they need a piece like him, more so defensively. I do believe Andrew Wiggins will get traded. I think the Heat will actually do it for a first-round pick maybe, because draft capital, I feel like for them, they're kind of indifferent about. But they know that Wiggins is expandable because right now, Norman Powell, Tyler Hero, I don't think Tyler Hero is going to get dealt this trade deadline because of the injuries he suffered this regular season, and Bam Adebayo has been pretty inconsistent again. So I do believe that they're going to move on from a piece that it is going to be Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense for me, honestly. I think the Heat have also been involved with attaining some pieces as well. So maybe they feel like if they get rid of Wiggins, it'll open up some space for them to make some additional moves to their roster, which it makes sense. And if they don't have to get rid of guys like you said, like Tyler Hero, and stuff like that, I think that Wiggins obviously is the first choice, right? I think he'd be the plan B in getting rid of somebody, and I think he would just be the odd man out. But like you said, if they can get a first round pick for him, I think it would be super positive for the franchise to be able to get rid of him and get a first round pick. Maybe I don't know if they get multiple first round picks, but even if they get one, I still think that's a win-win for the organization. So yeah, I like this idea of Miami trying to retool this way first. Maybe they do they'll revisit the fact that maybe they trade a guy like Hero, but not this time around. But trading Wiggins makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, especially if they get a first-round pick, they want to add as much draft capital as possible because they do still see the Giannis trade envisioned for them in the future as a possibility. So if they keep Hero around, trade Wiggins for a first-round pick, it only continues to add draft capital. That obviously that is intriguing for the Milwaukee Bucks whenever that time does come this summer, whether Giannis does take that extension or not. So I think it'd be a proactive move for the Miami Heat. All right, let's move forward to JV's first pick, and we have actually a pretty good one right here, and that is guard Anthony Simons from the Boston Celtics. JV, I'll throw it to you to get into it.
So yeah, obviously he came over in the Drew Holiday deal from Portland. He's got a $26.5 million salary, so obviously Boston's probably looking to dump that. They've actually been in talks with multiple teams in the past 4 to 5 weeks. So notably like Philly, the Nuggets, the Nets, the Clippers, and the Magic have all shown interest in Anthony Simmons. And listen, he's averaging 14 points and 3 assists a game. I think he'd be a very viable piece for a team looking for a point guard that could shoot. And sometimes he can score in bunches. He had a 39-point outing. I believe it was against Miami a couple of days ago, maybe last week. So, he could score the basketball when he's needed to. I know obviously he's spotty sometimes, but honestly, I think he'd be a really good pickup for whatever team. And honestly, Boston's looking to dump that salary. And I think they're also looking to get some picks as well. They have a lot of guards. So I think, Simmons is going to be the odd man out. Obviously, with his salary being a little bit team friendly, it's under $30 million. So maybe a team would be interested in that. So, like I said, there's about 5 or 6 teams right now that are looking to attain his services. So I could see Boston getting rid of Simmons come this deadline.
Yeah, when they first traded for him in that Drew Holiday deal, I do believe a move at the trade deadline was going to be imminent, just because they could get something in return for this guy, whether it's picks or maybe even a center, a backup center, something that they could rely on, or maybe even a power forward, just because, as you said, they have a lot of guards on this team. I think it's time that, they're going to be looking for either a power forward or center at this trade deadline. Moving Anthony Simons, I think, would be very pivotal to opening up a possible situation where they could attain a center. So I actually really do like this. I think out of all the players, him and Andrew Wiggins are most likely, since we did start off with them, the ones that I see getting traded the most out of all these. And I do believe Simons will get traded. I mean, they could keep him. I could see a world where his offense, does want to, Joe Mazzulla does want to keep his offense because, like you said, when he's shooting the ball and he's on a hot streak, this is a guy that is a very valuable player for a team, even if it's considered as bench depth. I think that's a player that you guys want. And there's a lot of teams looking for his services, like you said. So I am pretty excited to see where he ends up because I do think he's going to get moved as well.
Yeah, to me, it's only inevitable. Like I said, it's under $30 million. It's team friendly. So I could see a team making a swap for him rather smoothly, to be honest with you.
Yeah, let's move on. The second guy that I have for you guys right here is Bulls point guard / shooting guard. I think he plays a little bit of shooting guard too. Coby White. And I think this move as well is bound to happen. I saw that the Timberwolves have already been linked with him. They need a point guard really bad. They don't want to keep relying on an aging Mike Conley. So what a perfect move this would be for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And that's where I actually think he ends up in Minnesota. We've already seen possible situations, a first-round pick, Terrence Shannon as well, going to Chicago for a guy like Coby White. I think Coby White would be able to do very well in that Minnesota offense. And plus, what are the Bulls looking to do right now? They're back in mediocrity. I mean, they're just barely above 500. I think last time I saw they're losing right now to the Lakers as we record this. So I'm just very confused. They keep doing this every single year. They're just convinced and okay with being mid. And I just feel like at some point you got to embrace the tank, especially with the loaded draft class that we got going on. And I'm not saying like full-blown tank, lose all your good players. No, you obviously have untouchables like Buzelis. Technically, Noah Isingay, I think, is also untouchable for them. But Coby White, I think, is more than expandable, and I do believe he's going to get traded. If not now, when? I mean, are you going to extend this guy when the time comes? Like, I don't see that, knowing that you also have to, eventually get something going with Matas, who I do believe he's going to deserve a rightful extension right there in Chicago. So I do believe Coby White will be traded.
Yeah, I like this too. I'm not trying to sound biased just because whatever, but it makes sense. And Josh Giddey is another guy. I don't think they're going to get rid of Josh Giddey either. I think they have him in their plans.
They paid him.
And so I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. So yeah, like I said, I think Coby White is going to be the odd man out. Honestly, unfortunately for him in Chicago, and like you said, Chicago just seems content to be a 500 ball club where they finished maybe for a play-in, and that'll be almost like they made it to the finals. It's their equivalent of like championship status. They're very content with maybe just sneaking in or not getting in at all. It just seems like whatever happens there. But in the sake of making a move, I think the smartest move right now, obviously, would be to trade Kobe. If they could do that and maybe free up, a roster spot, do they bring in, another piece where is it a shooter? Do they go for maybe another big man? That'll be seen in the future. But I do think Kobe White is going to get traded. I think his time is running out there.
Yeah, I think out of all the moves as well, I feel like that's the one that the Bulls need to be desperate to make. At this point, I think they're probably going to keep Vucevic unless he might become a buyout candidate. Like I said, they're going in the wrong direction with this. The fact that they stay being mediocre, they're content with that. I know Jerry Reinsdorf is pretty content, obviously, because no matter how mid or bad this team is, ticket sales at the United Center still go like crazy. So, in my opinion, they got to start embracing this rebuild little by little. I've seen a lot of other content creator Bulls fans like Kenny Beecham obviously talk about how the Bulls right now are just in this state of purgatory and they need to get out of it ASAP. And I absolutely agree with him. It's pretty bad what they're doing right there. Not because obviously good basketball, there's a difference between good basketball, mediocre basketball, and tanking basketball. And I think right now being in the middle of that mediocre purgatory, you do not want to be there. Not in general, knowing how great the draft class is currently coming up for the NBA. So I don't know. I really hope that they do what's right. Trade Kobe White. If you somehow find a suitor for Vucevic, even for a second round pick or something like that, I doubt they get a first round pick because he is a little bit unreliable defensively.
Is he on the older side too?
You said what?
Is he on the older side too? Vucevic?
He's on the older side as well.
Yeah, so maybe a second round pick makes sense.
Even if they want to move away from backup center Jalen Smith, that could be a good one. Coro, I know, was interested by the Lakers. That could be another player they can move. But yeah, I think the Bulls should be embracing more so a rebuild, but they'll probably be sticking with Kobe White and Vucevic, knowing how they operate there. And that's unfortunate for Bulls fans, to be honest. Look, it's night and day from what they used to be to what they are right now.
True.
It's unfortunate. But regardless, let's move on to the fourth player we have on the list, JV's second player, and that's Charlotte Hornets forward Miles Bridges. JV, I'll throw it to you.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, this to me it was a toss-up between LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges. I think honestly they're going to keep Ball for the fans, and I think to sell tickets as much and as long as they can. That to me obviously is the odd man out, which is Miles Bridges, and his salary is favorable as well. It's $25 million for this year. I think they could possibly swing a first rounder, maybe two. I know the Bucks, Golden State, and the Suns have showed some slight interest. Maybe not the Bucks, in the past couple of days, but I know last week when I was looking at this and a couple of days ago, the Bucks had been mentioned, and Golden State as well, and like I said, the Suns have all shown some interest in his services. I think Charlotte's goal right now is just to build some draft capital. I think they lack it right now. They haven't been a lottery pick in a while, so they're not trying to bank on anything like that. So they're a pretty decent team right now. The playoffs, they're probably not going to make the playoffs, obviously. So why not start unloading some guys? And I think Bridges is the first guy that's going to be on this list. Like I said, I think they keep LaMelo Ball as long as they possibly can. And Bridges is just going to be the odd man out. Like I said, Charlotte's just looking to build some draft capital. There are some teams that are, in playoff contention that could probably use his services. And I think he would fit nicely on Golden State, not for nothing. I think he could help Steph Curry out and be another a scorer alongside Steph, and maybe help him out and alleviate some of the pressure there. But he'd be nice in the Suns too. It'd be a nice that'd be a nice little addition as well for them. Their team as well, trying to make a playoff push. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, his salary is friendly too. So I can see a couple of teams trying to make a swing for Miles Bridges.
Yeah, I think out of all the Hornets that are probably going to be in trade rumors, him, LaMelo, obviously, Colin Sexton. Colin Sexton is a guy on the Hornets I could see being traded for probably a second round pick. But Miles Bridges, the fact that, teams like you said, the Warriors, the Suns, those are pretty good, landing spots for him because he opens up the floor big time, especially for the Suns. I think Suns, and I mentioned it in the previous NBA video, we did it here on JBM. I think the Suns would be the perfect team for a guy like Miles Bridges, knowing how Devin Booker, when he has the ball in his hands, hitting a guy like Miles Bridges, even on potential corner threes, rolling with the alley-oops. I mean, that would be dynamic, honestly. That would be pretty dynamic in Phoenix. I would like to see that in Phoenix.
I don't mean to laugh, but remember, I don't know if you remember, we were watching the Golden State game the other night, and
Oh,
some
man.
of the plays that would
They're horrible, man.
that was just happening. I mean,
Yeah, bro.
they were getting stuffed at the net. I mean, the one play where the guy thought he was fouled, he literally threw the ball 15 feet over the backboard. I mean, they could use some help.
They could.
I think Golden State, they could use his services and just try to help Steph out in the later years of his career, because it's getting kind of iffy over there in Golden State. So I think maybe you bring him on, it could help Steph out. So
yeah,
they could use some offensive talent.
Yeah, I think for the Bucks, like you said, maybe a week ago that would have been looking likely, but now I think they're just going to embrace the rest of the season, just tanking it away, which, I mean, I never suggest or never put out there, yeah, go ahead, tank. I love when my basketball team tanks, but at this point, I think that's what's going to be likely for the Bucks. For the Suns, though, and the Warriors, I do think that would be great landing spots for Miles Bridges. The Warriors, more so, like you said, they've had quality and depth pieces that just haven't done anything. I mean, Pajemski looks like a bum out there. Let me keep thinking about it. Jeez, the fact I don't even know G Santos. Jesus, like,
Man, oh wow,
yeah, like these guys.
What are we talking about?
Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, for real.
And there was a report that came out, I believe, yesterday saying that Steph is actually pushed for some trades in Golden State, even though Steph is not the most vocal guy, but supposedly he had.
I think you saw the game that we were watching.
Yeah, man, come on. There's a lack of talent on that roster, and bringing a guy like Miles Bridges would be good. Bringing another guy that we're going to talk about a little bit later, as one of the players that we think is going to be traded by February 5th, would be good as well. But I don't know. However you look at it, I think out of all the Hornets players, he makes the most sense to move. LaMelo, yes, you could say he'll bring you a lot of draft capital, which he will. But they have LaMelo coming off the bench right now, bro. I mean, just Charles Lee and what he's done for the Hornets so far, I mean, I feel like he's kind of disrespected the crap out of LaMelo. And I think that's unfortunate.
Absolutely.
I think that's unfortunate. But let's keep on moving. Let's get to my final player. And I have none other than Damontes Sabonis from the Sacramento Kings. I think this is a guy that's not a lot of rumblings going on currently, but it makes so much sense because of the direction the Kings need to for sure go through, bro. I mean, DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Sabonis, Westbrook, you look at all those names, how are they as bad as they are? I mean, is what I'm trying to say. It's just not gelling. It's such a slow-paced team. And we've seen Sabonis and rumors with the Raptors. I think he would actually be a good piece as well for the Celtics. I think if the Celtics would target him, obviously they need a center, a guy that could space out the floor a little bit more. Obviously the offensive rebounding would be there with the guy like Sabonis. That would make a shed ton of sense. And I do believe Sabonis will get traded. Him, DeRozan, and LaVine, they need to find a way, and Westbrook as well. They need to find a way to get the most draft capital out of all those guys. They have to. I mean, it's not working out right now in Sacramento, and there's an obvious reason why. These guys slow down the pace. They're not, like I said, they're a team that looks better on paper, but once you see them translate to the court, it's not there. And it wasn't there.
Yeah. And he's a walking double-double. I mean, this guy is
he really is.
He goes to a playoff contender. Watch out. He'll automatically, boost a really good team and make them maybe an excellent team. He's that good. He could get 15 and 15, and it's halftime. You know what I mean? Like I've seen his stat line go crazy very early in games, and he is a real a huge threat on both sides of the ball. So I think the Kings could obviously get multiple first-round picks for him.
Yeah,
I really do. 2, maybe 3. So let's see what happens. I personally think if he goes to Boston, that's going to be scary for the Eastern Conference. You better watch out, especially if he goes to a team like Boston that plays gritty and tough to begin with, and to match him up with some of the guys they got already. A guy like Jaylen Brown, obviously, that'd be really something else. But this is a good pick. I like that because I really think Sabonis is a name that could garner a lot of picks as well.
Yeah, at least 3. I say 2, 3 first-round picks and young talent. I think the Kings should do everything to embrace the young talent that they have currently on their roster. Like I said, Keon Ellis potentially could get traded as well from the Kings. I would really like the move if the Raptors did it. The Raptors obviously being this young team in the East right now. They have guys like Ingram, Barnes, Emmanuel Quickly, Barrett. Bring a guy like Sabonis to wrap it up at the center position. that would be amazing for Toronto.
It would.
Even though, yes,
Absolutely.
you could obviously say not Toronto, Sabonis' defense isn't the best. To be fair, I get that. I will say this though, what he does on the offensive end, getting those offensive rebounds, allowing you to get those second chance points, that's going to be pivotal for a team like either the Celtics,
Absolutely.
the Raptors. I mean, potentially even the Warriors. It makes sense. Technically, it does. Would they want to trade with the Warriors? Obviously, knowing kind of the history that they have between those two teams, that's something we'll just have to wait and see. But I think Damontes Sabonis will be the most low-key name to get traded at the trade deadline. Let's give it to JV's last player to wrap it up here, and that's none other than Zion Williamson from the New Orleans Pelicans. JV, I'll throw it to you. Finish it off.
Yeah, listen. So I know there's a lot of executives that are, they have shied away maybe in the past year or two when it comes to Zion's name being mentioned in trade transactions. Due to his injury and his fierce style of play, which keeps him out for 35 to 40 games a year. Honestly, he misses quite some time
Yeah.
every year since he's been in the league. So there are two teams, the Wizards and the Bulls, were two teams that were potentially looking for his services. I still think you could probably swing 2 to 3 first round picks for him. I do think there's a team that would come to the imagination that he could stay healthy and really take his talents to the next level and help a playoff team really excel and get over the top. I could see him getting traded to the East, maybe helping out a team like Orlando if the Washington wasn't interested. Like I said, the Bulls they may be interested, but who knows where they're going to go with their organization, because like we had mentioned, Kobe White could be a guy that they get rid of. So we're not too sure if they're in a rebuild era. But if there's a team that's potentially going to make the playoffs or push for the playoffs, maybe the Sixers too. Would like to add a big body guy, and help out their squad as well. I think that would be very, very detrimental to the East if Philly got Zion Williamson. If he could stay healthy, I think that would be very nice with him and Maxey. I think that would be very, very good. But even if Boston wanted to do something and land his services for some reason, if they don't go, the Miles Bridges route, or maybe a guy like Sabonis, like we were talking about before, and they look into Zion, who knows? And maybe they give him away for one first round pick, or 2 first round picks, and it's not 3 or 4 like the Pelicans want. Maybe they settle and get half of those picks, and they try to move on that way. But I do see Zion getting traded. This team is awful. I mean, they're 12 and 36. They're literally a half a game better. I forgot who the other team that's literally right below them. It's not Sacramento, is it? No,
I'm actually not sure.
I'm not sure. Actually, it's Washington, I believe. Is it Washington?
Let me just fact check that real quick. Quick fact checking. 10 and 34 is the Wizards. Yes, 10 and 34 is the Wizards.
So there you go. So there's 2 teams. Obviously the Wizards being one that are looking for his services, but I could see maybe a playoff team. Hoping that if they can keep him healthy, he could really put their organization over the top. So I do see it. I see it happening. When are the Pelicans going to win? It's never. They're never going to win. They're not going to win next year, and they're sure as hell not going to win this year. So you might as well trade him and try to get the most out of him now, because God forbid something happens to him, next year or a year or 2 years from now. You might as well try to get rid of him and get the most you can. And honestly, I think a time like now, you could probably get 2 or 3 picks for him.
Yeah, I think there's an absolute ticking time bomb on him in New Orleans. The time is coming like 10-N. I do believe. What else do they have for Zion Williamson?
Yeah,
with the Pelicans, that's not much. I mean, they're not a competitive team right now. You see guys on that roster as well, like Alvarado, Jordan Poole, even Trey Murphy. They're gonna probably be moved. Herb Jones might be moved as well. Like, they have a lot of guys that probably will be moved, because what are they doing right now? They're the second worst team in the league, worst team in the Western Conference. I mean, they don't really need Zion services right now to what they're doing. They should be embracing the full-on tank. And guess what?
Right.
Oh my gosh, I just actually remembered. They don't even have their first-round pick this year, because that's going to the Hawks. So think about it like that. They're the worst team in the Western Conference, and they're not even going to have their pick this year. So trade this guy, get some draft capital. If not, you are cooked all around. All around, you got nothing to look forward to. Honestly, I mean, this might be a hot take. I've heard rumblings about it. I don't know if it's true. I doubt it, but if you look at pictures of that stadium, basically, bro, there's nobody that goes to the games in New Orleans. It's almost
it's a shame.
They might honestly. I don't know if it's a hot take. You guys could come back to it if you guys want, but they might lose their team, bro. Like they might lose their team.
Yeah, so, that's a good point.
Hold up, real quick. Let me just check out of curiosity how much it costs to go to a Pelicans game, real quick. This is about to be good. This is about to be really good.
Yes, see what the average ticket price is. I bet you it's cheap as hell. I mean,
$12 against the Heat.
Against the Heat,
February 11th, and then $10 against the Kings, February 9th.
I mean, the Heat right now, if the playoffs started tomorrow, will be in the playoffs, I think.
I mean, that's just the state of, that's just the state right there. But that's what I'm saying. New Orleans, y'all got to start by doing something right. Trade this man because, like JV said, he could get injured. Something could happen, and then the value just goes absolutely down. And that's what you don't need right there. I think that's a great – honestly, his name is not getting a lot of rumblings right now, but I do believe as February 5th comes closer, there's going to be some teams that do call for his services.
Yeah, I can see it happening. Like I said, and the time is now. 12-35. Just get it done. You're not going to win. When he's healthy, he's producing, but you're not winning basketball games. So the writing is on the wall. Just try to get the picks. If you can get 2 to 3 picks for him, first round you've already won. Just get it done at this point.
Yeah, and if there's any player out there that you do believe is going to get traded, leave it down in the comments section. We obviously read all the comments. Make sure you guys continue to subscribe to JBM Sports Media here on YouTube. You guys have been doing absolutely phenomenal with the support. Follow us on IG, follow us on TikTok, and the Twitter's coming very soon. That's what I was trying to say as well. I think we should make the Twitter account, Facebook as well. What you think, JB? I think that's coming as well.
Let's do it.
So JBM Sports Media, as of right now on TikTok and IG, even though TikTok's been it's going through a buggy stage right now. Hopefully it's fixed by the time this video's up because we try to upload our reactions, basically, JB did, to the NFC and AFC championship game. Nothing. TikTok is currently bugged the F out, so hopefully it's fixed by tomorrow. Fingers crossed. Other than that, I think we had a great list right here, JB.
Yeah, these 6 guys are definitely, obviously, they're, like you said, under the rug type guys where they're not really being talked about, quiet rumblings. So, we tried to not throw out huge names in this. We tried to really see the smart names, the names
realistic, very realistic
names that are going to make a difference for both sides, for both organizations that get involved, and how many picks could be involved as well. So I think this list is very accurate as well. I think we took the time, to really do some research into this list, and it just shows. I think this is I think everybody on this list could get traded, honestly, by February 5th.
Yeah, we'll be surprised to see how many we get right. Make sure you guys come back to this video to fact check us of what we said and everything like that. But regardless, I think this was an excellent video. We're going to have more NBA content, especially now with NFL season wrapping up. Super Bowl, obviously, is the only game we have left. And MLB content is going to be coming at a rapid pace as well starting February. So stay tuned for that. Other than that, it's been your boy Ben and JB from JBM Sports Media, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.